Hey 30-1s. What I'm going to show you in this quick video is how to convert between exponentials and logarithms. So seems like it's going to be just a tiny topic, but it's going to have huge ramifications for us as we work through this unit. So if I wanted to convert between forms, well, why would I want to convert between forms first? Well, let's look at something like this. We want to solve for x. Well, we know how to solve for x from last unit. We would make bases the same, and therefore exponents are equal. Okay, but what about if we couldn't make bases the same? This is why we're going to use logarithms. So we'll do that in a moment. Let's attack this in a different way. So if you watch the history video, you know a little bit about logarithms. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use logarithms like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a logarithm to both sides, right? Remember when I was a little guy, my teacher always said, what I do to one side, I do to the other. And the reason is that it maintains equality. Remember, this log button, when you're pushing it on your calculator, is performing a massive operation. Just like when you hit this button on your calculator or this button on your calculator is doing a big chunk of computations. Same thing when we hit logarithm. So how does this work? Well, if you remember your laws of logarithms from the history video, what we can do is we can take our exponent and make it our coefficient. And now log 2 is just a button. And I said log 2 is a button, log 2 is a value. And so now we can divide both sides by that value. So here we go. We can go and pick up our calculator and we can actually put that in because this is base 10, a common log. You can just put that right in your calculator. And guess what? If you go punch that in your calculator, you're going to get 3. Hey, that's good news. It's the exact same thing. Okay, let's try this one more time. Let's do hot pink. So when do I want to use this? When I algebraically cannot make the bases the same. So what I'll do is I will take the log of both sides to maintain equality. My exponent can become my coefficient. Okay, that's from the history lesson of logs. It's on your formula sheet. Log 3 is a value, so I divide both sides by it. And there it is. That's something I can put into my calculator. Now, there is a little way to simplify how I've written both of these right here and here. Okay, and it's called change of base. So change of base works like this. Change of base says this, and it's on my formula sheet. So if you want to go look at it, okay, it says this. It says if I have a log m over log n, where the bases are the same, I'll call them b. What this formula tells me is that I can rewrite this like this, as one single logarithm. Do you notice, here's the big thing, the bases are the same, the argument in the denominator becomes the base of the logarithm, and the argument of the numerator becomes the argument of the single logarithm. This is called change of base, just like that. Okay, well, let's go back up to these two questions we just did here. And I'm going to write these with change of base. I'm going to write this as a single logarithm. So for this one, they both have the same base of 10. So I can write it as a single log. My argument here becomes the base, and my argument here is my argument there. These two are the exact same, okay? It's just the bottom one is a little bit simpler to write. Now, A bunch of you have a button to put that in your calculator, but in the grand scheme of things, some of you don't. You always have to write it like this when you have a base of 10. That's it. If I wanted to come over to the other one right here, and if I wanted to write this in a slightly better way, all I would do is this. I would say the base or the argument of my denominator becomes the base of my simplified log. The argument of my numerator is the argument of my simplified log. These two are the exact same thing. That's it. This is how we convert forms. So to solve for an unknown exponent, what you're going to do is take the log of both sides. Now, in the next video, I'm going to show you a bit of a shortcut that doesn't always work to convert logarithms, but it works a lot of the time. There it is, friends. There's how you convert forms.